Hey guys, welcome to my home gym. Today I will show you all of the wonderful ways that my gym has been outfitted by Rep Fitness. I'm going to give you the price breakdowns for everything and let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let's look at the main piece in this gym. It is our power cage. We have the PR5000 V2. This is in the clear coat, and I'll give you the specs on that. So when I did my build, I kind of went all out just to see what the quality was like on all of their best products, and I'll give you my recommendations along with what I wish I did differently with my build. I'll start with the most simple things is the size of this rack, and you can customize it based on your needs. I got the 84 inch. We have a pretty short ceiling height in here. I might have been able to get away with a 90. Now I'm 5'5", so keep that in mind. It's impossible to do overhead. I have really long arms. I cannot do any overhead movements in this rack, but you can always do your overhead movements outside of the rack in front of it, so that alleviates some of that. If you're shorter than me or if you have shorter arms, it probably won't be an issue, but if you're taller, you have to do your overhead press movements outside the rack. As for depth, I believe it's the 40 or 41 inch depth. All right, so for this build, I thought it would take up less space to do the 40 inch because I knew I was going to add in the lap pulley system, which would add size to the back end of the rack. Instead of doing the front foot stabilizers, I decided to go with a deeper rack for more stability. And we also ended up adding a lap pulley system to the cage, which was a great addition. We have all sorts of attachments that we got from them. I have a cable rope, I have the V attachment, I have the straight bar, I have the angled bars, and then we also got some spudding straps to add to it. This is a really diverse piece of equipment, the lap pulley system itself. It's a really great add-on, and I highly recommend it for those of you who are purchasing any of these cages. Keep that in mind. As for the safeties, it depends how you train. I went with the flip down safeties, which I like. They're a bit heavy and they take up space if you're not using them, so keep that in mind in terms of storage and stuff like that. This is a bigger cage, so if you have space issues, you have to keep that in mind as well. I do have a lot of attachments that I ordered for this. As you can see, I have the dip bar, I have the belt squat, I also have a landmine that I use regularly for this. And these are all really great additions. You have to keep in mind size and space as always for these. In terms of the pull-up system, so I love doing pull-ups and anything upper body. I love pegboards, I love the little knobby things, whatever they're called. I like doing all that. So I decided to order this, I think it's called like a multi-something pulley, whatever. I'll put the name here. This was one of my regrets for this particular cage. I wish I got the other pull-up system that went up and around. And the reason I didn't do that was because I thought I wouldn't have the space for it, but now that I've added the lap pulley system and I see that goes up over the rack and we have plenty of space, I wish we got the other pull-up bar system, because when I hang off of this pull-up bar, my feet do touch the floor. It's just different. I know you say you could always bend your legs, you can always do this and that and the other, but there's certain things that you can't replace with a hanging movement. You can't do, like, for example, toes to bar. You can't do like anything where, you know, you want to do a dead hang pull-up. You don't want to have your knees behind you. You want to have your body straight. You don't have that option of doing that. Now, if it's not a big deal to you, or if you're super short, that's fine. But to me, just being nitpicky, I would prefer to have gotten the different attachment. I probably will upgrade at some point. Technically, I think it's cheaper, so it might be a downgrade. I don't know, but that's my preference for this. In terms of the J hooks, people might not think this is a big deal, but if you're a power lifter, you're very picky about your J hooks, you're picky about your rack heights, these are amazing. I highly recommend getting both J hooks, also because if you work out with a workout partner, or if you do squat and you do bench, You can place your hooks and you don't have to worry about like taking the bar off, putting it somewhere, whatever. You can transfer it more easily. The last thing we're gonna address for this rack are the weight horns. So that's plate storage. I highly recommend that you get 4 pairs. I originally got 2. I recently ordered 2 more. And that's because if you have all 4, you can basically put a different weight on each weight horn instead of stacking like 45s and 25s and 5s and 10s. You can have the 45s on one, the 25s on one, the 10s on one, and 5s and whatever on the other. I recommend that. It'll make your life a lot easier. They're not very expensive. So don't be cheap like me and go for just 2. Go for the whole shebang. Okay, so that's that for the PR5000 V2. Let's move on to what's inside the PR5000 V2. What do y'all want to look at first? Do you want to look at my bar or do you want to look at my bench? Let's look at the bench. All right, so here we have the flat comp bench, and here we have the adjustable bench. I love this bench. If you get this bench, you have to get the little add-on here. This little thingy that holds your feet in place. You could do crunches, you could do decline bench, you could do incline bench, you could do all kinds of stuff on here. Trust me, you want this bench. When I first got my rep stuff, I had a secondhand rep bench and a secondhand rep rack. I ended up selling them because I was like, I'm gonna buy all new equipment. Ended up buying a brand new adjustable bench, selling the flat bench, and I really regretted it. I think they both serve their purpose. So I ended up buying a new flat bench, and I have to say that although I love the adjustable bench for incline and decline, nothing really replaces the original flat competition bench. Especially if you do competition bench press, you want a competition flat bench. So highly recommend both benches. Aside from that, let's take a look at this bar behind me. So this is the Deep Knurl Power Bar. I was very skeptical about this bar when Katie, she's Katie from Rep Fitness, she told me, Mel, we really want you to try the Deep Knurl Power Bar. Let us know how you like it. So at the time, I was an Ohio Power Bar girl. I didn't know anything about Rep Fitness, okay? So I was like, there's no way they're gonna compete with the Ohio Power Bar. I was wrong. Mark my words. You want this bar, okay? The knurling on this bar is so aggressive. This, amazing for squat and bench. I did use it as an all-around bar, but really this is what you want for those heavy squats, heavy bench. It's really good, really aggressive. It's going to rough up your hands, so it's not for the faint of heart, okay? Make sure that you are okay with having a really aggressive bar if you go for this one, which I highly recommend. I have one more bar from Rep that I tried. I recently got into Olympic lifting. I got their Saber bar. Next on my list is a Gladiator bar. I really want to try it. I love the Saber bar. It fits well in my hands. It's a great women's bar. I got the 15 kilo bar, and I also highly recommend that. The knurling on that is aggressive as well. The knurling on this bar is more aggressive than the bars I've used in the past, whether it's been Rogue or I want to say Aleco, but don't quote me on that. But this is one of the more aggressive bars, and maybe it's just because it was brand spanking new when I got it. I don't know. Let's move on to some plate storage. All right, y'all, so behind me, you'll see a few Rep bumper plates on my plate tree. You also see like a little Swiss American bar. So this weight plate tree or bumper tree, whatever, I'll put the name somewhere. All right, so this comes with enough space to put a couple sets of bumpers on there. It also fits 2 barbells. I usually put my Olympic barbell on one side and this American bar on the other side. I highly recommend getting something like this. It makes it really convenient to use your bumper plates. All right, guys, so before I show you my last piece de resistance, let me show you my storage for my bars. We got all sorts of fancy bars here. This is the 8-bar gun rack. I highly recommend it if you have a lot of straight bars, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of straight, 4.5, meaning these specialty bars are a pain to put on and off of this particular rack. Keep that in mind when you are getting a gun rack like this. If I had to do it over, I would get the little 9 holder cup thingy where you can put it vertically, as well as this. I might add that later if I have the space for it, but just keep that in mind. I love this rack though. There's been a sexy man doing some sled drags. Look at that. Last but not least, we have the polyurethane dumbbell set 5 to 50 with the dumbbell rack as well. So as y'all may know, I'm a power lifter, but I sorely missed doing my accessories with dumbbells. There's some things kettlebell can't replicate. There's the ease of use of these dumbbells. They have this amazing knurling. Let me show y'all. Oh hey, look at that knurling. Knurling is the little grippy stuff. This is amazing, doesn't slip, super good quality. And for those of you who, like me, were wondering, what's the difference between the rubber and the polyurethane coated dumbbells? And I'll tell you, it's the size and uniformity. As they go up in weight, their size doesn't significantly increase the same way the rubber coated plates increase. So for a rubber dumbbell to be this big, you would have a massive dumbbell versus these types of dumbbells, they don't drastically increase size as much. And as you guys probably have experienced, when you have a really big clunky dumbbell, it just doesn't sit the same way as a smaller, more compact dumbbell. So it's just a matter of preference and just a matter of, do you want a super good quality item or do you want something that's gonna get the job done? That's up to you. That's pretty much it, guys. We covered the basics of my gym. As you know, I have plenty more in here that we did not discuss, but you know, that's for another day. For now, I will give you a total tally of all of my items, and next time we can go on a full tour and you can see all of my OCD-ness in my gym in all its glory. This is my favorite wall. Has my TRX certified. I got my glute bands, I got my slingshots, I got my resistance bands, I got everything. And as y'all know, I will be linking so many of these things in the description box below for you, including the stabilizer, this wonderful tripod thingy I'm using here. You can see that right there. All right, y'all. I hope you like this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.